Thanks for joining us again for a 3 p.m. chat where we're bringing you up to date with all things that are going on great in Chatham-Kent, hosted by Your TV. So thank you very much, Your TV, for partnering with us on this. I have Nan Stuckey. Nan is the Executive Director for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Chatham-Kent on the line with me. Hi, Nan. Sometimes I want to call you Nanine. I love that name. It's pretty.
No.
It is.
No, people don't know that.
Okay, Nan. So Nan, I see that you're working from home because a lot of times when I'm having conversations with you via Zoom, I see your lime green background, and that's certainly not the case today. So how are you doing at home?
Great.
Good. So does that mean that services have paused right now with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
No, actually, we never paused services. So when the pandemic hit, we took a couple of weeks and transitioned all of our matches into virtual matches. And right now we just started again a couple of weeks ago, our group programming as well, and it's all done virtually.
And the rest of your staff are still working from home then? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It's interesting how you just figure out how to do things differently, right? Like I think we are in week 9. But yeah, in a heartbeat, you can figure out how to do things differently.
Right.
Thursday mornings, I've been spending a couple hours with you, 8 a.m. at our discovery tables. And for those of you out there who don't know what the discovery tables are, it's the needs discovery table. We are getting together with approximately 60 nonprofits and grassroots groups in discussing all of the needs that are happening in our community with our community's most vulnerable population. And so what we've done is we've brought together all these groups, and we've separated groups into sectors of priority population. So we have the seniors table, we've got an Indigenous table, a homeless table, people that are living in poverty. And of course, we've got vulnerable youth, which Nan, you are sitting at. Can you talk to us? I'm on the homeless table, so I don't know what the conversations are happening around youth. Can you talk to us about some of the needs of youth that are happening around that table?
Well, I actually joined the end of March. And so, as you might assume, at the very beginning, our top concerns were about food and housing for youth. And with the end of the student nutrition program being offered through the schools, we needed to be sure that all of the vulnerable youth were getting access to the new monies that were being funneled that way. So from a Big Brother, Big Sister point of view, we were looking, all of our kids do have housing, but a lot of the families access food for their children through the student nutrition program. So when there was a new way to access that set up by the community and through the sort of needs discovery tables, we then made sure that all of our families knew about it. And for those that were internet challenged, we were helping them to learn how to do that. And we still have a few families that we help every week to access that just because it's beyond them or they don't have Wi-Fi.
Right. So
go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to make mention, so anyone that's listening in on this that is not aware of the student nutrition program, that how it has been revamped. Families can apply for support through the provision of a grocery card that will be mailed out to you. So anybody that's looking for that information, I just didn't want to lose sight of that, Nan. You can go to ckgives.ca and certainly find that kind of a help.
So some of the other participants at the table are, of course, public health, children's services, Canadian mental health. And one of the things that we are focusing on every week is the children who are more and more isolated in the community. So from our point of view, our little brothers and sisters are not typically, but a lot of them have social isolation issues to begin with and are not really well connected to the community, which is something their big brother or their big sister helps them. But now that they don't attend school, they can be sitting at home for 24 hours a day. And as adults, it's challenging to sort of try and get your head around what's happening in the world and how it impacts us and how we should be reacting. And just acknowledging that all feelings are quite reasonable and something that we need to accept. And so the mental health issues and the socialization issues and the community connectedness are all sort of concerns that we've developed at our table that on a weekly basis we're looking to find
To address, right?
and then figure out where, having identified what a solution might be, figuring what charity or what service or the municipality where those services should be coming from. So we do have people at the table who represent the municipal point of view as well. So it's getting a sense of what is already out there that we may or may not be aware of, and then whether monies need to go there to boost their programs.
Have you found that process to be effective? And I can just say, on my point of view, I sit on the homeless table. And so all the folks around this table service that population and traditionally have not worked so closely together in exactly what you had just said, as far as, trying to figure out what's happening in the community already, because we certainly don't want to duplicate anything, nor do we want to have any group left behind. So what is your take, Nan, on the process?
I think the process is excellent. I'm really extremely proud of Chatham-Kent, how they've come together. The Miracle Food Drive is sort of something I think all of the community is aware of, but sort of the needs discovery tables are not necessarily something everyone knows about, but it is a really simple and easy way for the community to respond very, very quickly to identified needs and to respond well.
So, and when you say very, very quickly, there are solutions that are developed, of course, out of these discussions. And you had applied for some funding because as far as solutions go, your team has developed a solution to ensure that little brothers and little sisters are staying connected. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Of course. We applied to the group for $10,000 to help us purchase the hardware that our kids needed. So iPads, that sort of thing, used. We're also accepting used, but getting that sort of message out there as well. Laptops, so that our kids can connect with their big brother or big sister, and also so that they can connect via our group programs with other children their age, discussing issues that are similar to all of them. I believe we sort of applied on a Thursday or Friday, and we heard the next week that it had been approved. So it was the money flowed from the federal government, I believe, very quickly, and the money flowed to us very quickly. The process was not onerous. And again, I'm just really, really proud how Chatham-Kent's got this together, because I weekly contact with Sarnia, Windsor, London, and they would love to have a similar kind of program running in those communities, where you bring together as many people and adding them in as you go along to address issues for vulnerable youth, vulnerable seniors, the homeless, and the homeless, I think, is a great job. And we've all seen very clearly what's happening at the Bradley Center, which is just amazing that happens so quickly. So I think the process is great.
And I see it as a process that's not going to stop post-COVID. I think that you know, a lot of the changes that we're seeing today, with whether it's you know, how investments are made in the community, how you know, applications are received, all of those things. A lot of these things just made sense pre-COVID, and now we're forced to really, you know what I mean, sort of let our guard down and, you know, share in the discussions and the conversations, and find out what other groups are doing out there and how we can support each other. So that was my take.
For sure. Yeah.
So in light of COVID, Nan, I mean, I know that, you know, we've always been in contact with regards to volunteers. Are you still looking for mentor volunteers?
Definitely. Ideally, we would prefer those who are internet savvy, who are used to using Zoom or FaceTime or Skype or those kinds of things. But we have, I believe, 58 kids on the waiting list now. And we're accepting new children every day. And so all of those we would ideally love to get matched before, well, definitely before the end of June. We know that, you know, nothing's out there. I shouldn't say nothing, but very limited programming is out there over the summer this year because of COVID. And so if we could get volunteers registering on our website, that would be terrific.
Well, I can tell you that on a daily basis, multiple times a day, I am getting people from the community reaching out to us over at United Way, asking how they can help. So we will continue to, you know, point them in your direction, Nan, because especially in light of COVID and having to be physically distant, it's this is something that people can actually jump on board and do right from home, right?
Right. Now, unfortunately, our process isn't as fast as I would like it to be, because we still have all of our safety concerns and screening processes in place, but it still can be within a few weeks that we would get you matched with the child. And we don't expect them for their first meeting, a caseworker will be on with them, and they will be on their sort of get-togethers for as long as needed in terms of both parties, the big sister and the little sister, being comfortable. So it's not like we're going to throw you in the deep end. And I mean, the littles also need help too. They frequently are not great talkers. And so already knowing the caseworker sort of allows them to have somebody to talk about. And we also help them sort of set an agenda for them getting together. And so some of the things can be as simple as going on a zoo tour or playing a game that's online, where, you know, a lot of talking is not necessary, or you can, you know, the big can say things, but doesn't necessarily have to ask questions.
So how many kids are on the waiting list?
I believe it's 58.
So do you match one volunteer per one child?
Yes, that's the ideal. Now we do, in addition to that, we have group programming. So we have a Go Girls program and a Game On program, which is for boys. Both of them are group mentoring programs where there are 2 or 3 mentors who are matched with, say, 6 to 8 children. There is a curriculum they go through for each weekly session, but a lot of it's been modified in terms of COVID, and a lot of it is modified in terms of the children and what they need to talk about and what they want to talk about.
Well, that's fantastic that programming can still continue. As you were saying, like this is a group that typically is more isolated than others, right? And so there's a greater need, even more so today.
Right, and I mean, there's a lot more casework time being taken as well for every family that we need to call and remind them about signing up for help with the food, for food and groceries and that kind of stuff. Or even just encouraging, not all of our big sisters and big brothers were internet savvy when this started. And so once you've been on Zoom a few times or another platform, it's not as scary, but for the first couple of times you wonder whether you can remember how to do it, or, you know, all of those kinds of things. And so those volunteers need a reassurance, especially now too. So
well, super.
Provide it all.
Thanks for all you do in the community. I've been working with you for years and years, probably, I'm going to say like 15 years in
Okay.
the Chatham-Kent community anyways, and it's always been a pleasure. So is there anything in leaving off that you want the public to know about services at Big Brothers Big Sisters? Or, you had mentioned that you're looking for new and used iPads and smartphones and whatnot. Is there
Laptops.
Okay.
For sure. So just want to remind everyone that all of our programs are still running, and that we need always, as always, lots of volunteers, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, group mentors, that kind of thing. We have summer programming in place that's virtual that any children can sign up for. And needless to say, all of this is at no cost. So, and then the provision of sort of the hardware that we need for the children to have. I'm not 100% sure what the school boards are doing in terms of giving wider access to the children over the summer, and based on the iPads that they've dispersed. I do know that, you get one per family, and so when there's 4 or 5 children, it's not as useful as it might be. So it requires good scheduling.
Well, I appreciate you spending the afternoon with us, Nan, and sharing that information. For any of you out there looking for volunteer opportunities, please connect with Nan over at Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And I'm sure that you have a link on your website, Nan, for volunteers. Yes. And if you, the other way that you can connect is certainly to go to ckgives.ca. That is a place where you can find help, where you can give help, so you can sign up to volunteer, and we kind of connect volunteers off with nonprofits that are making requests, and of course you can donate as well there. So thank you for joining in on this call, everyone out there. See you on Wednesday when we talk to Andrew Teal, and he's going to share some how Nurse 11 came to be. So thanks so much. Bye, Nan.
Bye-bye.